Hey guys, Justin with Ready Business Systems. Today is February 6th, Wednesday. I'm just on my way to the shop to just go over the tasks in order of priority with my manager for this winter, for February, in terms of prepping for the season. I organized a nice list for him, what needs to get done and when, and what's the most important. But one thing I just wanted to talk about was a concept that's I've kind of aggregated through several sources. So there's a book called The Pumpkin Plan, and they talk about basically the idea that, you know, the way they grow giant pumpkins is they put all their resources into their best clients, and they kind of let the small pumpkins, the unhealthy pumpkins, die off, and they put all their energy into that pumpkin. And then once they determine what that pumpkin needs, they try to figure out and give it everything it needs and put all of the energy towards that. Another book I read was The 4-Hour Workweek, which the idea behind that one is they talk about the 80-20 rule and Parkinson's law. And the 80-20 rule is basically the same concept as the pumpkin plan, in that 80% of your output comes from 20% of your input. It applies through all parts of life, but you know, also 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your customers. 80% of your complaints and problems come from 20% of your customers. So that concept. Parkinson's law is basically saying the more you have, the more you waste. So the way he relates to it in the book is that if you have all day to get a task done and do your job, you're going to fill that time with something. Just like an office job, people waste a lot of time when really they might be able to get their job done in 2 or 3 hours during the day. So basically, if you combine all those concepts, it's basically saying get rid of your dead time. Make sure you're putting your time where it counts, and make sure that you're focused on the things that matter, because 80% of the time you're probably working on 20% of the things that don't matter, which isn't a good use of time. You're going to be much more effective if you use your time most effectively, and you only work on the 20% of things that will give you 80% of the output. So a couple examples for this are basically with these videos, I could make them all fancy and I could edit them and do all those things, but I think that's the 80% of the work that's going to give me 20% of the output. By doing these videos on the road or not putting a lot of work into them, that's the 20% of the work. I'm getting my message across. It's not fancy, it's not refined, it doesn't look pretty, but I'm going to get 80% of the results. Another thing is in school, I figured it out pretty quickly in high school, but to get an A is really, really hard, to get A's in all your classes. So all those students that were, the best students in the classes and they got A's, they also worked really, really hard. I figured out that I could put in a fifth of the work, 20%, if I focused on only the things that really mattered, the essential things. So really, the amount of work it required to get a B, 80%, was exponentially less than it was to get an A. So pretty much, I just got B's because it was the most efficient way, and I was also able to miss the beginning of school because I'd skip all the free periods, I'd skip English, I'd skip all the easy stuff. I'd just go to like math class because you can't miss that stuff. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because it's not just me talking. This is two different very intelligent authors that have been very successful and are very efficient, and just applying that towards your business. As he put it, just think throughout the day, if you're working on the 20% of the work that's going to give 80% of the results, or if you're hung up on the 80% of the work that's going to give you 20% of the work. And if you are, if you keep reminding yourself to check on that, then you can stop working on those activities and focus on the activities that matter, and you're going to get a lot further. So anyway, I just wanted to share those concepts with you, and I also highly recommend those books. They're really good books. But I will catch you guys next time.